Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. So, what we got going on here is I'm just trying to take care of a bunch of little projects. I'm still waiting on getting all the pricing to figure out if I'm putting a asphalt or metal roof on my house. So, I've been trying to get everything else under control because once I start that project, I'll be busy with that for a while. So, what I have right behind me here is my Ford. And I'll turn this camera around and show you what's going on. So when I got back from the UTV takeover in Coos Bay, I still had the camper on the truck, and I don't like leaving the suspension loaded. So I went out there and I just put under the back of it back here, kind of like it is right now. There's a bottle jack under it. I just threw a bottle jack underneath the back of the hitch. Just jack it up a little bit, take the load off the suspension. Well, what I did, and you'll see why I'm pointing that in just a second. So what I did is I jacked it up the perfect height where it had no weight from the truck on it and it had no weight from the spring or the axle on it. It was just in a neutral spot on this side. And then I go and walk by and I look in here and I look at the springs every once in a while and I check the U-bolts and see if you see any rust around them, like they're moving. And something looked odd. So I'm looking and there was no rust like they had been moving. You'll watch around this area here on your springs, and if you see rust forming around there, that is an indication that the U-bolt is moving. So that was weird. And it's like, okay, well, I guess I got to tighten that. But see, I have aftermarket overloads. And that's why the truck carries the side-by-side on top so well and the camper so well, is these aftermarket overloads that are on top. I don't know what they are, what brand or anything. They were on the truck before I got it. And I'm noticing here, looking at it, that the end of this one right here is a little bit bent. I'll have to see if the other side's like that. Anyway, so I got those on there. Well, it's real hard to get to the nut of the U-bolt with those on there. But that thing was loose on one side. So I went ahead and went to loosen the other side so that I could slide it over. So if you push it one way, you can get your socket on there to try to tighten the U-bolt. Well, you notice there's one U-bolt missing on there. It snapped off. It's like, oh, great. Well, I have to at least replace those U-bolts. And so then I go to try to tighten stuff, and I was able to tighten the outside one. But the inside one of them wouldn't spin, even though I soaked it in penetrating lube for days and everything. But then I get underneath to look at things. It's like, well, I'll go ahead and get new U-bolts for it. Shouldn't be a big deal. You just make a phone call and you'd have some, right? Well, I get underneath there, and I'm looking at the back of the rig, and I see if I can get it to show up. I see that. See how there's this little crack-looking thing here, and the corner right here missing. So that's the bottom of the block. So these trucks come with a block factory, and then the truck has a lift, so they replace the factory block with the taller block. Well then, see how this is all worn down along here? So this is showing you how much contact area it actually had. So the block is longer than the pad on the axle, and it's narrower than the pad on the axle. And the block has got hollow spots, and the pad has hollow spots. And you can kind of see where it was riding. Well, put the light in the right spot. There we go. So it wasn't contacting everywhere. The back wasn't contacting at all. You see no wear marks on the back half there. The front half, it just barely had any contact. And so I'm looking at that, and I'm looking at this. I take it all apart, and I'm like, oh my goodness. See how this is worn down like this? So I don't know if this caused the U-bolt to be loose or the U-bolt was loose and it caused this to wear, but this didn't happen overnight. I mean, this took some time, so it might have just been, years of wear, and I don't know how the truck was treated before I had it. I used this for a daily driver for a little while. I use it for runaround rig. I use it for construction jobs. And now it primarily is used for hauling, because I don't live far from where I work now. So I don't drive it a lot, on a daily basis. So anyway, all that to say, I don't like that. And you would think, okay, well, you just get on the internet or you call an auto parts store or whatever, and it'd be a piece of cake. I need a block that's 5 inches tall. It's a flat one. I need 16-inch U-bolts. They're 3.5 inches wide, 5/8 diameter. Think it'd be a piece of cake. Well, it wasn't. So everything I would find was hollow like that, and even thinner. This is 3/8 thick. So the ones I was finding were only like a 1/4 inch thick on the casting. And then I found some companies that build them, and they fabricate them, but they fabricate the whole thing out of 1/4. Wasn't a big fan of that. I'm thinking it should be at least 3/8. This thing, it works for a living. So what I'm going to do now is I am building my own block. So to get those those U-bolts, I ordered them from 2 separate companies. The long bolt is from one company, and they didn't have the small U-bolt that would work for the overloads. The company that has the bolt for the overload had the long one, but they're 50% more money. So I bought the big one from one company, the small one from another company. So I got those. And then I am building my own block, and I'm doing it out of 3/8 and 3x5 tube and all that stuff. So what we'll do is I'll go ahead and turn this light off here. And here's something else to show you before we do that. So that's not just clean and dirty. That's actually same as the block. It's kind of wore down a little bit. So I'm going to have to kind of hand mill that down to get that flat. I'll have to get my sander in there, get that flat so I have full bearing, because I'm going to build a block that doesn't have these hollow spots. It's going to be a solid pad sitting down on that, so it's got full support. And and before I came home, I told a friend at work, I said, well, I'm going to go home and drop the truck on me so I don't have to worry about things anymore. Ha ha ha. Well, I got home, and it's still got the camper on it. I couldn't find the controller for the jacks. I was like, okay, I guess I'm jacking it up with the weight of the camper and everything. So I put my Harbor Freight jack under there, gave it a couple pumps, and it doesn't like that. Which it should be fine, it's a 4-ton. But I went and got my bottle jack, put it under the back, jacked that up some, and then I needed 2 jacks anyway. Used this jack for raising and lowering the axle to get this thing apart. So as I'm jacking that up, see how it's stacked on boards? Well, you can actually kind of see a dent in the side of that board. When I first did it, I had a smaller board on the bottom, and I had that top one on its side, and it was almost all the way up, but the back wheels are off the ground, and I don't have the front wheels chalked. So all of a sudden the thing starts to roll, and it kicks out. I'm laying right there. It kicks out, falls forward. I got the hood open, it slams shut. It falls down. I had the stands under it. It falls down, catches the frame of the back bumper, and pushes the back bumper up into the camper and let's see if I can get it to show. Push this up so it was touching the body, touching the camper. It was like, oh, well, that was smart. But the tires were still on it, so, it didn't crush me or nothing. So then I jacked it up properly, loosened the bumper, dropped it down, put it back where it was. It just, all the force just pushed it all the way up. And so we got it sitting there the way it's supposed to be. All right, now we will we'll run to my work where I've started some of the pieces. I'll give you a shot of what we're doing there and go from there. Okay, so this is what the block's going to look like. So this will be taller. That's not the right height. That's just a piece I had. So that is 3 by 5 by 3/8. And then I saw this design that somebody else was doing. And the concept here is that your block will never twist on you, because you'll see some rigs where their block gets in there and it's twisted. And I believe that's more of an issue when you have a wedge-shaped block that's kicking your axle, but my block is flat top and bottom, so I don't think the twisting is as big a deal. But I thought it was a good idea. So I'm doing that. Get these pieces here cut out, and then what I'm going to do is in the center, on one of them, the bottom one will have an 1.5 inch hole cut. The top one will have a 5/8 hole cut. And then I'm going to take a piece of strong steel, maybe 4140 or 1018, something like that. And I will, the bottom one will go through there. Top one will have the 5/8 hole, and on the I'll use some 1.5 inch bar, the 4140 like I'm talking, and then I'll make it long enough that it goes through the hole that I'm going to put in this and sticks out. So you got your centering pin, and then on the bottom side of it I'll weld it. So then this will be sitting like that with that 4140 on there, and then I take it over here and drop it on this, and it'll slide through the hole of the other one, and I'll have it tapered, and then I'll be able to weld around that. And then that'll have a hole in the center, and that'll be the centering pin for the top. So you got one sticking out that goes into the axle, and then you got a hole in the opposite end that catches the bolt that holds your spring pack together. So that right there is how I'm going to build it. Everything here is 3/8. These are elongated a little bit, so you got a little play getting your U-bolts in. So should work out pretty good. I'll bevel all of this because this is the same sides, so you see there's nowhere for a weld right here, but I'll bevel this so I can get weld there. It'll be real easy fillet welds around there. And then having that 4140, which is way stronger than this mild steel. This mild steel alone is strong enough, but it'll have that piece in the center, so I don't have to worry about that block ever failing. And then I have a full bearing surface on that axle, so I don't have to worry about wearing it uneven. If it does wear it, it's going to wear the whole thing evenly. So that's the plan. I was going to come in here and work on that today. I don't know how far I'll get. I'll probably start drilling holes in it. And then we've got some round bar over there by the lathe, and it looks like there's nothing in the lathe. So I'll see how far I get. But what I'm supposed to do also today, turn this. So also the other thing that I'm doing today is I'm supposed to run to my buddy's house, because next weekend we're going to the 250R takeover in Winchester Bay. So what that is it is a tribute. Anyway, it's a 250R event for 4-wheelers and 3-wheelers. And I think I read that last year there was 90 250R 4-wheeler and 3-wheelers 3-wheelers there, and then there was a couple other, some Ducatis and stuff like that that showed up, which doesn't count to their number. 100 and something people showed up. 90 of them were 250Rs. So I got a buddy that's a collector. So I'm supposed to go over there and help him dig the 250R off the shelf that's in the back of his shop. So you got to move everything out of the shop to get to it. And he has some Ducati 3-wheelers and 250R 3-wheelers and stuff like that. He has one 250R 4-wheeler, I used to ride one of those. I absolutely love those machines, which is part of why I love my 400EX, because that was the next generation of that machine. A little scratchy. Anyway, so I'm supposed to go over there and do that. So I probably won't get done with this. Put my hand in front of the camera. Probably won't get done with this today. This will be the end of this video. So I will show some clips of what it looks like as it goes together in future videos. And then I should have some clips from the 250R takeover. It's supposed to happen next weekend in Winchester Bay. And hopefully that's a good time. So we'll catch you on the next one. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. It really helps the channel. And you have a good day.